All right, let's hear from Greg Sankey again.
In November of 2022, and he begins his third season this year at Auburn. He's been the head football coach at four different colleges and universities: Lambeth, Ole Miss, Liberty, and now at Auburn. He was a two-year letterman at Northwest Mississippi Community College, so I have a community college degree. I did not win a letter during my athletic exploits, so congratulations to Hugh. He has a bachelor's degree from Southern Miss in mathematics. And when he was a student at Southern Miss, he started what has become a lifelong behavior for himself, which is serving and leading on various mission trips at that time, a few domestically in Houston and Salt Lake City, but also in St. Petersburg, Russia, and Australia. And I know because he and I have had this conversation over time, he continues to lead and serve in mission trips, including members of his football team in various locations. He was born in Oxford, raised in Independence, Mississippi. He and his wife Jill are the proud parents of three daughters, and he has three grandchildren with, I understand, a fourth on the way. Auburn University head football coach Hugh Freeze.
Let's welcome Auburn University. It's Hugh Freeze.
Good afternoon. SEC Media Days are always a exciting time of the year.
Let's listen in.
Because we know what's coming right around the corner, and at Auburn, we couldn't be more excited about this fall and what we've done to get to this point. Recently, Jill and I had the privilege of going to Plainsman Park and seeing Butch and his guys battle for a trip to Omaha, and a few weeks earlier to see the same with our basketball team, and it just reminded me of how incredible, the Auburn fan base is, that they always show up and are faithful, and we've had a third straight sellout. And our president, Chris Roberts, often says that Auburn has earned the right to dream the biggest dreams, and that's the way I feel about our football team, for our fans this year, and for our administration, and for our team. I like our squad. I like the makeup of it. I like the staff. I love the energy that's in the building, and I can't be more excited about us having a chance to prove that we can compete in every single game that's on our schedule. And heading into our third year, with respect, obviously, to our great league, our roster is just better. We're bigger, we're faster, we're stronger, our culture is strong. And our chemistry and carryover in coaching is here for a second consecutive year, and most of our locker room is bought in to the standard to which we think it will take for us to win football games. And so we brought three great ones here today in Jackson and Connor and Keldrick. I know you got to visit with them, but those are incredible human beings. Number one, great Auburn men, and also tremendous leaders for our football team that we will count on heavily come this fall. We have built this fairly fast. We should have won, or could have won, some games last year, and we've done everything in our power to evaluate why that happened and what we can do better as coaches, and then get more pieces to the puzzle with more and more players. And we feel very confident we've done both. And our expectation is we embrace the high expectations that Auburn brings, and we believe this team's potential is limitless.
Thank you, Coach. If you have questions, please raise your hand. Miles, Ty, and Olivia will get to you. We'll start right here in the center aisle, right in front of us. You're out.
Hey, Coach. Wyatt Fulton, time for 100.9 Radio in Tuscaloosa. You're 0-4 against Georgia and Alabama your first 2 years at Auburn. Why do you think this year's going to be different getting those games at home?
Yeah, number one, playing in Jordan-Hare is a definite advantage in those games for sure. And our roster is one that can compete with those teams. And we've been in the games even the first 2 years, but we haven't found a way to win. And that's one of the secrets, I think, to our success this year, is having guys that we think we've brought in that have the combination of all of it, not just skill set, but this guy's a winner and has been proven to win, and now will help us get over the edge these close games like those two will be.
Coach, we'll go back to our left hand in front of me, in the section in front of me, about 3/4 of the way back over on our left.
Peter Rodriguez from AO.com. You talked about the psychological tests that you and the players have done. What have you learned about yourself from those tests? And Jackson mentioned doing the test on his visit. Is that part of how you guys evaluate transfers?
We definitely try to do that with portal kids because you're speed dating. You have 24 hours to make a decision, and I like that test. High school kids, it's not as important because you're going to have time when they get there, and you've had a window of a year or two that you've kind of have an idea of knowing them. We give them that option if they'd like to, but portal kids, we like to see that, and it certainly has revealed to me some areas that I can certainly improve on in communication with particular types of players that are different, and I've tried to kind of I've had my staff kind of put them in buckets, so I have it kind of on a sheet of paper where I know the way that this kid really prefers to be coached or talked to or addressed, and it really has worked and helpful to me in that, like, my first thought today when I saw Jackson was, say to him this. And that really comes from just the discussions that we've had with people over these profiles, which I think are going to be very helpful to us.
Coach, we'll go over to the section to our right and about halfway back. Straight ahead.
In the middle, Coach. Jacob Goins, ESPN 106.7 in Auburn. You lose a guy like Jarquez Hunter from your running back room, but you have a collection of them in there this year. What do you expect the usage to be? What have you seen from those guys, and kind of what their roles will be for all of them?
Yeah, Damari Alston is probably has not shown his full potential, and we probably hadn't given him credit for as good as he is. You had somebody like Jarquez who was in front of them, and one of the things Jarquez had that was unique was his stamina, and he really could handle a lot of plays, which limited in a lot of games the touches that you'd see for Damari or Cobb last year. So I'm really excited for them to get their shot. I think Cobb has that breakaway speed, the explosiveness, twitchiness. Damari is a real complete back that is a really good runner, great pass protector, good ball catcher, can do it all. And then, we're anxious in camp to see Darrell Robinson, who we recruited but did not get to see practice due to injury during the spring. And I think those three initially will be the ones that get the chance to develop our run game, which you have to have in this league. You have to run the football. And we've been pretty successful at that, both years. And we've got to have that continue, and there's no reason with the offensive line. This is my favorite offensive line when I look at it on paper and experience, size, length. So we better be able to run the football and protect the quarterback because I think we're pretty talented up there.
Coach, we'll go just right across the aisle in the middle section, right there to the left.
Hey, Coach.
Hey.
Grace, reporter from the Next Round. You mentioned this roster and the improvements that you've made, but how do you leverage it currently to be able to compete for playoff berths instead of bowl games this season?
Yeah, you win those close games. I truly believe that in the playoff run, we're going to be in this discussion because I love this team. I think we've got to stay healthy, and we need the ball to bounce our way a couple times this year instead of against us, I'm sure. But that's our full expectation. We embrace the fact that is what Auburn should be in those talks year in, year out. And it takes a little time to build it, and we've been doing that. And certainly I wish we would have won more games a few times, but the future is very bright in my eyes. And we've been blessed everywhere we've been to win, and I expect nothing less than that at Auburn.
Coach, we'll go over to our right-hand side, Philip.
Philip Marshall of Auburn 247 Sports. Could you just talk about Keldrick Falk and what he brings on the field and off the field?
Yeah, we owe a lot to kids like Keldrick and Connor Lew, who in 2.5 weeks when we first got the job here, we were able to convince to come join us, and now are bedrocks and leaders of our program. and guys that you depend on every single day to speak truth into the lives of everybody in that locker room about our standards and how we must choose for a period of this year to truly buy into being all in for each other and not just about self. And Connor and Keldrick have two of those best voices. Keldrick, many people don't know, is also one of the most giving and unselfish people I know, and helped one of our current walk-ons the other day with some of his NIL money that was on a hard time trying to stay in school. I mean, that's the kind of guy he is, and we're fortunate to have him.
Coach, we're going to go right here in the front row, just to your right.
Hey, Coach, Michael Bronner at WNSP in Mobile. I was wondering if you could address your relationship with Lane Kiffin. We've talked a lot this week about the antics on social media with the fishing and the golf and all that, but he generally speaks pretty highly of you when he's asked specifically. So what do you think about Lane Kiffin?
I'm not on social media, but I love Lane. He makes me laugh. And I think he's a good football coach for sure. Loved his family for a long time. You know, Chris, his brother, was with me at the beginning of my journey, and owe a lot to him. And his wife Angela and Imani would always come and help also when he could. And I think Lane's done a great job. I couldn't get away with doing all the social media, and so I admire him. Let's go have fun with it.
Coach, we'll go over to our left-hand side along the wall.
Hey, Coach, Chris Phillips, SEC Unfiltered. So you talked a little bit earlier about winning the close games, and that's going to be the difference for you guys this season. What's the work you guys are doing this offseason, going into this season, to change that? Is it as simple as changing over the roster, changing the mentality, changing the culture of when you get to those late moments, expecting good things to happen instead of the, oh, here we go again type feeling? Yeah, great question. And, I don't want to spend the rest of my time answering it. I'll try to answer it as short as I can. But that was the first thing you have to do is look at you as a coach. And, all right, why did we lose those games? Well, last year's, they came down, those close ones, turnovers. We were the worst in the league at turning the ball over, and we did not score enough touchdowns in the red zone, and we did not play great defense on critical downs, and our field goal unit did not make some critical field goals for various reasons. So how do you improve those? You look at us first coaches. We've done a deep dive into all of that to see, do we need to change anything schematically, and the answer to some of that was yes. We probably need to do less, and then go get more pieces to add to the roster, to where when you do call that play, the chances of success go up, because better players make better plays. So it's a combination, but first you have to start with us as, what are we doing in those scenarios, if anything, that we need to change.
We're going to go all the way to the back of the room in front of the goalpost, very last row.
Hey, Coach. Steve Moulton, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. You mentioned a lot here during this offseason about constructing this team. You like this team a lot, but the pressures of winning, I mean, it's a reality. Tell me what it does to you in particular, Coach, on the pressures of winning. Man,
I anticipate it. I accept it and expect it, and I'm glad I'm at a place that has those expectations. And I think when you've done this a while, you really don't give into a lot of the pressure stuff. Y'all know that I'm a person of faith, and one of the things that I believe is the story that's going to be written for my life and for Auburn football and everything is going to be written, and I've got to do the best I can to turn that out. But ultimately, I don't really have a seat at the table on the story, but I do know that we won't give in to anything, because we actually want the expectations, and this team deserves them. They're good enough to go and meet them. So we welcome them. We're glad that people are actually talking about, man, watch out for this team. This team has done some things with their roster that's made them better. Now we've got to start winning the football games that we have a chance to win.
Okay, we'll stay in this center aisle, right to our left, right there, Drew.
Yes, Coach Drew DR, WZZN Radio, Huntsville, Alabama. Obviously, as you guys self-scouted, you decided you wanted to go into the portal and improve on the offensive tackle spot. Talk about Xavier Chaplin from Virginia Tech, and then Mason Murphy from USC, and How does that kind of transform your own line led by Connor Lew?
Yeah, we get 3 veterans back in the middle with D. Wade and Connor Lew and Jeremiah. And also get the return of Tutal, who's a 2-year starter for us that can rotate for all of those. And now you have 2 veteran tackles that have played a lot of snaps, that have the length and skill sets that really, I think, improve us from the past 2 years. I've got to bring along a couple of the young ones, and Dre and Tyler Johnston and some of those guys, but feel really, really good about, our first 7 guys.
Okay, we have time for a few more. We'll start way back in the back near the TV set. Pastor Bro.
Hey Coach, this is Reagan Scarda of Inside Arkansas. I just wanted to ask specifically about Caleb Wooden, a former starting safety for Auburn who appeared in 10 games. From your perspective, what kind of player is Caleb, and what qualities or skills do you think he could bring to the Arkansas program?
Yeah, he had a bright future, and I assume he's still working the way his work ethic was here, and I think he's a solid SEC football player, so I would expect him to contribute.
Okay, we'll go over to the left section, about halfway back, right on the aisle.
Connor O'Gara, Saturday Night South. Are you tired of having to defend playing golf?
I don't. I really hadn't had to defend it. I just, it's something I enjoy doing, but I assure you, it does not take away from my time working to take Auburn back to the top of the college football world.
Coach, we'll go over here to our left, about the 4th row, here in the half.
Coach Chris Marler, LouisianaSports.net. Last year, Jackson Arnold was behind an offensive line that gave the most sacks in the entire country. Receiving group that had all 5 starters out for most of the SEC season. Coming into this situation now and the elevated, the talent around him, what do you think his ceiling can be around this Auburn offense?
Yeah, I love Jackson out of high school. I think everybody did. He was a Gatorade Player of the Year, top quarterback in the country coming out, and boy, he fit everything that I believe in doing offensively, and Coach Nix believes it. We've been together a long time, and he just fits that. So I knew how I felt about him then, but of course you're doing this speed dating here, and things weren't great statistically or whatever performance-wise. So then you have to do a deep dive into why was that, and can I get past whatever that was? And when you evaluate it, you said it. I mean, he had several different play callers, injured offensive line and receivers, and yet when you pull all of his throws, I still saw that. There it is. That's what I saw. There it is again. He still has that about him. And then you look at his toughness, and in the Alabama game, putting his team on his back with his legs, and I mean, he had some tough runs. And so I knew he had the toughness to him. And now it was just a matter of, man, let's give this guy a restart and let him regain his swagger and confidence. And I knew that the receiver room we had could assist in that, and it did pretty quickly when he found out, man, I make a good throw in this area, in this one-on-one, our guys are making plays. And I've seen that swagger and confidence come back pretty quickly.
And Coach will go all the way to the back of the room in front of the goalpost.
Coach, Rob Brown, SEC Sideline, Sports Network, Memphis. Auburn hasn't had a cycle like this since post-World War II, 46 to 50. How important is getting off, let's talk some football, to a win in Waco on Friday night, and talk about the culture in spite of the 2 years before you, and I don't blame you for that, and then the roster being what it was when you got there. You hadn't had mass exodus. That says something is going right there in the culture.
Yeah. Well, I'll give credit to our assistant coaches and to our leadership council for the culture. I talk about it a lot and set the tone of it and talk about what I'd like for it to look like. But without their help and their assistance, I think it's pretty difficult in this day and time to get that in a large percentage of your team. There is zero hiding from the fact that first game is a big game. And we must embrace that too, and that should help elevate our focus all throughout fall camp, because we're playing a very good football team that has a very good football coach in Dave Aranda.
Okay, we're going to go all the way to the back of the room, the very back.
Brandon Dramo, you insider, Rivals on 3. You talked about watching Jackson and seeing the throws and everything that you thought you saw in high school. You could see little spurts. But what do you see that he improved most on, from what you saw at Oklahoma to what you saw through spring and so far throughout your season in this offseason?
Yeah, I don't know that it's fair for me to compare what he was asked to do at Oklahoma to what he's asked to do here. That's difficult, and particularly had several different play callers. And but when I sat and had conversation with Jackson, it was clear that he had some confusion. And so I would say the one thing that I believe when I see him operate right now is there's very, very few times he is confused on what the expectation is on a given concept, a given play, a given RPO. His decision making has been pretty dang high. And so I think that is what I would say. I mean, he has the same skill set that he had there. But I do think he has a really good understanding of what we're wanting to accomplish, and he has the skill sets to do that.
Coach will stay in the same section in the same general area. Over to our left.
Hugh, Joe Hoodman, AOL.com. Was there any strategy in taking the quarterback from Oklahoma, considering you guys opened up the SEC with them, or is that just a bonus?
Yeah, I hadn't even thought about that. So I can't say that played any factor into it at all. And but that is, in this new world, for us offensive guys, that's a little unsettling. Because we lost a quarterback that's at Baylor now too, and we opened up with them the first game. So I don't think there was any strategy in that either. But it does make for an interesting week when you start thinking about, oh heck. If it's the same system and verbiage, that's something you do have to think about.
Coach, we'll go to this other side along the near aisle right down the center.
Hey, Coach, John Abraham, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Talk about that relationship between Nike and the transition between what we might be seeing in the upcoming season.
Yeah, we're thankful to be partnering with Nike. Mr. Knight and his wife Penny have known them for years, and I've never worn sneakers with a suit before, but felt like it was appropriate to celebrate our turnover and partnership with them that began July 1, and it's been nice to see. As things roll in, it gives us multiple opportunities for our young athletes all across Auburn to go see it and celebrate it multiple times. So I think there's an excitement in the air to be partnering with Nike for sure. And, as far as everything that goes into the decision, man, that's way above me. But our kids are excited, and I know that our partnership with them will go well.
Coach, we'll go back over to my side of the room, about 3/4 of the way back. The team.
Justin Ferguson, the Auburn Observer.
Wow, it looks like Auburn will take on Baylor at 8 p.m. on Fox. It's another way you can watch it on. Will be the Fox Sports app.
What have you seen from them with Chad now being?
Yeah, first welcome Chad Lunsford, who we're excited about running our special teams back, and he did a really nice job.
Whatever associated with Fox Sports, like Fox Sports.
That he's going to do.
Fox Sports 1, Fox Sports 2, and of course the Big Ten. Those three are the only ones that it connects with the Fox Sports app, for
he
sure.
Didn't get a lot of credit until something goes wrong, and that hasn't happened many times for us, and so we're thrilled to have him back. Hudson, coming over from Oklahoma State, very similar to Oscar, can rugby, can stay in the pocket and kick it. So we feel like we're in solid hands there also. And
I would say like Notre Dame, yeah, that's my favorite team of all time too.
Kicking duties. We're glad to have Alex back for sure. He was very, very consistent in our year one in field goal attempts. So glad to have him back. I think he plays a key role.
Men's basketball is also going to
that we may not have also.
So we're thrilled to have him back.
I wonder how
What will
it
make us
works.
better is I love this team, and I love our team speed
Yeah,
better
all we
than
got,
in
right.
the
All we gotta
past.
do
And that
is-
makes special teams a lot better when you have faster guys on the team, and we're just from top to bottom. I think we're a little faster and a little longer,
Maybe
and have some more depth that will help
I will
on those
take a
teams.
look at the aisles if it's matched with this.
Over here on the right-hand side.
Michael Cosgrande.
All we gotta do is put the
A
10.
decade ago, the hurry up no huddle was all the rage. How has that evolved? And you
Why
can
are
see
you
it
putting
coming
on the
back.
side?
Seems that most of us that were totally committed to that world, which I was, it won a lot of games, but it seemed as defenses transitioned and found ways to catch up with us, and that it's kind of shifted back. There's still some that I would say are totally committed to it, than others of us that are really trying to play the best complementary football that we can, and maybe lessen some of those snaps that your defense has to take. And so that's where I've kind of landed right now as a mixture. But I think it's because, man, these defenses having to play a lot of snaps troubles a head coach. And even if you're one that's committed to an up-tempo, pace, you just got to be careful. It's hard to stop offenses these days unless there's just a handful that have elite defenses that can shut down offenses. And to me, it becomes a factor of, all right, what do we need to win this game? And if there's a way we can move the football and lessen the snaps on our defense, I would lean toward that method immediately.
Coach, we'll take one final question right down the center aisle, just to our right in the blue.
Hey, Coach, Daryl Dapprich, Locked on Auburn. Traditionally, your offenses like to utilize the tight end. With this receiving room being so deep, are there going to be personnel packages where perhaps there's less tight end utilized?
Yes. I probably have not gone 10 personnel a handful of times in the past 3 to 4 years. It's probably been 5 to 6 years before you can look at our stuff and know we were in 10 personnel a decent amount of the time. So you will see in the past few years we've obviously been 11 and 12. You definitely will see some more 10 personnel type pictures.
Coach Freeze, thank you for your time this afternoon.
Thank you so much.
All right, that was from Hugh Freeze, the head coach of the Auburn Tigers, the football team. And we'll be right back with more fun after these messages. Don't you go anywhere. And that is up next. Don't you go anywhere.